Rumina. I am the grandchild of a dairy farmer who had cows until I was born in the 1980s. I never thought I was going to live with cows myself. I grew up in a big city with millions of people. I walked barefoot on warm asphalt. I went to film school and made frothy lattes in a cafe. I secretly used oat milk in the lattes, and usually no one noticed, although eventually I did get fired. When I went to see my grandmother in the countryside, she would drink a glass of full fat milk at every meal and would ask me to explain the internet. Is it like a telephone? She asked. I didn't know how to reply. I stared at the creamy white liquid. There were only 5 people on Tinder within a 15-kilometer radius from my grandmother's house. I spent time in the empty cowshed and toyed with the old tools of no use. One day, I started thinking about what I put in my mouth and what humans in general put into their mouths. I started thinking about milk as the first fluid we drink and which we usually continue to consume in different forms as an adult. The fluid that has played such a big part in many human cultures and economies for thousands of years. Milk is everywhere. I became obsessed with the phenomenon of breastfeeding, and I became obsessed with the dairy industry. I wanted to understand what happens in situations of suckling. They can be banal, caring, greedy, painful, erotic, or transgressive. Yes, there are different intentions and mental experiences involved. Yes, what are the power positions in situations of suckling? What are the ethics? I started collecting breastfeeding images from different decades and centuries. I was keen on images that portrayed humans breastfeeding animals, or human adults suckling each other's nipples. I also visited farms. I looked at the milking robots suck cows. This was around 30 years ago. The image you are looking at right now is 30 years old. A 30-year-old pink laser beam focusing on the cow's genetically engineered udders. Do you wish to know where I am now? Where I ended up? Well, I followed my obsession to its logical conclusion. I live in my grandmother's old house. I live with cows. We are close. They scrub me with their tongues, and I look at their anuses stretch as they expel feces from their body. I rub and sometimes kiss them too, just above their eyes. The cows have eyes on the sides of their heads, and I have my eyes on the front. That could signify that they are prey and I am a hunter. But in our case, both species die of old age, save for the occasional cow that a wolf kills in the pasture. Sometimes the cow enters my body. When I drink the milk of those ones that happen to generate milk and who do not seem to mind milking. I would not need to, I might as well have milk produced every day by yeast cultures. But drinking the cow's milk makes me feel closer to them. It feels sacred and old. I wrote this with the cows. I am a co writer and a cow writer. I channel their energies. I'm not the kind of witch they describe in Finnish stories, where the witches in the barn meant death for the cattle. I spend hours every day with the cows to observe, to learn from them. I look at their nipples and touch them while touching my own. They are different. They are the same. At nights, I turn into a cow myself, or rather, I shapeshift between cow and human forms. Both collapse into me and move my body. I'm yearning to get down on all fours and breastfeed. Due to pumping and other induced lactation techniques, I produce milk without ever having a baby. I do not believe it would work before I tried it myself. I persisted even if it took a long time for the fluid to flow. You might wonder who my milk is for. One night, you come over to my house. You may have been here before, or you may have not. But in any case, you are not afraid. We are now in a room full of people. We all start pulling our tops off. Some of us might even then fold our shirts neatly on a chair. Some might let them fall on the floor. If you wear a bra, you remove it too. You remove everything that is covering your breasts. The doorbell rings. There are knocks on the windows. Waiting behind them is a miscellaneous collective of other beings, animals, extraterrestrials. The cows I live with are there too. Some of the arrivals are still babies. Some of them are fully grown with sore, swollen udders. Some nipples are dry but ready. All beings are thirsty, but for different things. They crawl and amble and slide towards you from different directions. Their movements create sounds, cackling, jingling, humming, thrumming. You gulp once, and then a second time in suspense and fascination with appetite. Your nipples tingle. You are preparing to suckle and be suckled by humans, non humans, animals, and other beings. Nobody here is in a hurry to be satisfied.
Tuu, tuu, tupakkarulla, mistäs tiesit tänne tulla? Tuulin pitkin Turun tietä, häämäläisten härkää tietä. Mistäs tunsit meidän portin? Siitä tunsin uuden portin. Haka alla pyöräpäällä, karhun talja portin päällä. Uuni kysyi uunin päältä, uunen poika porstuasta. Onko lasta kätkyessä, pientä peitteiden sisässä?